Welcome back to the grind. In this video, we are going to talk about the Mythic Ammo limited time branch, and this is going to be kind of a tough one to discuss because ammo runes are one of the best runes in the game for players who love and are very skilled with hunters. A lot of hunters really rely on ammo for insane damage, and a lot of them really benefit from having it because many hunters have ways to either increase their damage of their ammo or refill the ammo that they have so they can use it again, or even both. And when you refill your ammo, when you have extra ammo runes on the dragon, you end up getting so much more value from that spell and even more damage out of it. So this is one of the most sought after runes in the game. However, the main rune in question is typically thought of from silver chests, and it also typically has a secondary stat of rage, which typically all dragons really need. So having a high amount of rage bonus plus having ammo makes for a really potent rune. We have this hunter attack ammo rune here that you can get from this limited time branch, and this is kind of tough to value because there really isn't other ones that have hunter attack with ammo. And maybe if there was this one that was a bit more available, we wouldn't have as much desire in getting this one. But obviously that's why we have it on offer here. Hunter attack in general is not as valuable as hunter ammo, but hunter attack is still very important for the dragon. Now, this probably is a rune that I would find a lot of value in having, and I would probably save it for one of my most prized hunters. The challenge here is it costs 10,000 sigils, and for most players, you don't have 10,000 sigils laying around. So you really have to decide. It's not really about, is this rune worth it or not? Yeah, it's a great rune, and if you can afford it, then you'll benefit from having it. But you just kind of have to prioritize. Now, if, for example, you're not getting a mythic dragon this season and therefore have extra sigils, you might as well go for this rune because it's only going to detract from another branch of yours. Now, if that's going to mean that you're not going to complete a different branch and therefore you're going to lose out on a lot of value of that branch, then maybe it won't be as worth it. But if you're not getting a mythic dragon and you really don't have anywhere specific you need to allocate your sigils, meaning you're not like running out of timers and absolutely have to invest in a branch that has tons of timers, then I would say that this is something you should really consider. If, on the other hand, this would probably take away from your ability to get a mythic, I would say maybe don't, unless you're not really that excited about the mythic dragons. But if you're excited about getting a mythic this season and this would deter you from that, I would ignore this rune. And a whole nother topic is just save up all your silver chests for a long time until you have over 1100, I think it is, to open in order to get the mythic ammo runes. But this is such a tempting branch, and I'm not sure if I haven't fully decided on whether or not I'm going to get it. But they did say on forums that this will continue to be available through fortification event. And I know that this timer here says otherwise. It says it ends in 2 days, but on the forums they did say it would be available through fortification. So hopefully that is the case and that doesn't end up being false. But there are still a lot of other good prizes in the branch. You get some inner fires, energy packs, rune dust. You get some timers from this as well. You get a good chunk here if you go all the way into this one here. And then lots of rune dust, some chisels to add on to that, more timers. And then at the very end, you can repeat the timers if you would like to. But this is kind of expensive, and I think you'd be better off investing into the Draconic branch. Now, the question is, from a lot of players, I'm sure, going to be, should I put the sigils into this or just those extra 10,000 sigils into Draconic chests? Well, there really is no better option. Like, you can't really compare them one to one because the hunter ammo attack rune is a unique one of a kind rune, and it is not really easily comparable with resources from Draconic chests. Now, overall, you're probably going to end up with more to show from the Draconic chests, but what you get will be a finite resource that will eventually be used up, whereas this Mythic Hunter attack ammo rune will be with you forever. You'll never lose this rune. So in that sense, because of the permanence of this rune, you may be able to place more value on this rather than other aspects or other branches. And if it doesn't ruin your season plan of, getting the resources you need for next season, or completing a branch that you needed to complete, or getting your Mythic Dragon, then I would say this is probably a rune that you want to pursue. And I'm lucky enough to have lots of excess resources that I can probably grab this rune without making any issues. I will be able to grab this rune without any issues. And so I might end up getting this one after I put a little more thought into it, but most players aren't in that position that it's just a no-brainer, and it would affect their progress in other branches. So it really comes down to how much you value hunters and how much you value the ammo runes for them, because you don't need them to play a hunter well, but it really is nice to have. And this is a pretty nice rune, and it'll make a dragon a lot stronger, and it'll look really nice because it's a very unique rune to have. But again, I don't know. It's really hard to compare the value of this because it depends on everyone's unique situation as well. But there's a lot of good other resources in this branch as well. And the rune is a nice rune, but we also do have the Azrael branch that just came out, which I'll talk about soon too. And it is on bonus resources for the first couple weeks that it's out. So you'll get extra egg tokens from it, extra mythic fragments from it. The draconic chests or gold chests from here will be extra as well. So there's a lot of value in this branch as well, which makes it more challenging. And I just noticed they actually put glyphs. I don't remember if they had glyphs in the other branch, because that means people who pick up the dragons from the draconic chests alone will not be able to get the runes and glyphs ever, which is pretty disappointing. I guess that incentivizes you to actually get the branch. But enough on that. We'll talk about that one later. This mythic ammo rune is a tough one. I wouldn't kill yourself into, pushing for this if it's going to be tight. But the fact that it is a permanent rune, and it is a good rune. If you love hunters, if you play hunters all the time, and if you want to get the absolute most out of your hunters, then this is probably something you should think long and hard about putting your sigils into. For 10,000 sigils, you'll get all these prizes in the front, plus this unique rune. And I would say if you're an invested hunter player, then it's worth considering heavily and trying to make the season work while putting your sigils here. Yes, you will lose out on potentially some resources from draconic chests, and it'll be really difficult to compare those resources. Obviously, if you're desperate for those resources, then there's more value on the draconic chest at this time, but those resources will be used up in 1 week of PvP event, 1 week of oh wait, are there even PvP resources in draconic chests? Getting confused. Sorry, I know I'm rambling on a little bit. I'm trying not to. There are no PvP resources. There are PvP resources. That's right. There are some fat stacks of PvP resources. So, I mean, if you're gonna need the draconic chests for your next fortification event or your next PvP event, then you might want to consider that instead. But keep in mind, the draconic chests that you'll get with those sigils, you might use up the PvP resources in a single event. You might use up the breeding resources in a single event, and you might use up the base building resources in a single event. So that is like, would you rather have resources for a single event, or would you rather just play it slow for a couple events and have this brand new fancy mythic hunter attack ammo rune? So that's my thoughts on it. I think that, for the majority of players, and for those who it would interfere with your season plan, I would not get it. But if you have the means to get it and you are an avid hunter player, then I would say it's worth putting that effort in, because it's really hard to get ammo runes, especially that give +2 ammo like this one does. I don't actually know how much attack this one gives, but I would guess it's probably around 5 to 7%. That's just like an assumption, but don't quote me on that one. If you know, put it in the comments below, please, for everyone else. But I would say that this is a rune that if you're an avid hunter player, that you should probably consider getting, even if it means losing out on some resources for base building or PvP. I would say that this probably, because of the permanence of it and the value that it gives to that dragon, and you can take it off and put it on any other dragon throughout the remainder of the time that you play this game. So I would say that this holds importance for players who are into hunters and love playing hunters and excel at playing hunters. So that's where I stand, and because of that, I think I've convinced myself to end up pushing to get this rune as well. Let me know what your thoughts are on this branch, if you got it already or plan to get it, and if you agree with my evaluation and opinions about it. But if you don't, that's totally fine too. Let me know in the comments below what you think, so others can see others' opinions as well. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, good luck in this and the next event, and I hope to see you in the next video.